Hello and welcome to Start Select, the video game show that rocks out with its out. First up today, we're going to be meeting with Tim Schafer and Alex Navarro to talk about Brutal Legend and Rock Band Unplugged. Then Luke Anderson and I will be checking out Fat Princess on the PlayStation 3. Finally, we'll be giving away 3 copies of Prinny Can I Really Be the Hero on the PlayStation Portable. But first, let's go and check out EA's latest rock games at a preview event in London. It's central London, it's finally sunny, and it can mean only one thing: spring is here. And that means all of the publishers are about to show off their latest wares for the rest of the year. It's EA's turn today, and they've got Dragon Age Origins, Saboteur, and a bunch of sports titles including Fight Night and FIFA. So let's head inside this empty shell of a building and see what they've got in store. All right, guys, we're joined by Alex Navarro now, who works for Harmonix. Oh, was that introduced correctly? I think just about that'll do. That'll do just fine. That'll cover it all. You may remember him used to work for GameSpot, and now you're kind of working. I don't remember that. You're working for the coolest company in. I
am indeed working for one of the more fun developers you could possibly work for.
And you're over in London making your appearance.
Indeed.
So tell us about Rock Band Unplugged for the PSP.
So Rock Band Unplugged is what we're considering sort of a marriage between like the Rock Band look and feel, the sort of flavor of the game, with some gameplay that might be familiar to people that are that have known our older franchises like Frequency and Amplitude for the PS2. So it's the same sort of like beat matching, track switching gameplay mixed in with like tracks that you know and love from Rock Band and from Rock Band 2 specifically, and our DLC catalog, as well as 9 new tracks that are exclusive to the PSP for a limited time. If you're playing a game with an instrument peripheral, you know, you want to feel like a rock star. You know, you want to feel like you're playing the guitar, playing the drums or whatever, and it's like doing this with your PSP or this, you know, just doesn't really have that same feel to it. You know, it's like you're playing a ukulele or something. That's, while a ukulele is pretty awesome, that is not as awesome. So, you know, it's about finding a way that just sort of, you know, finding a way to interact with your music that makes sense in the context of the console that you're playing. And I think that, you know, with what we've done here with Unplugged really makes sense within the context of people playing the PSP on the go, you know, on the train or the bus to work or stuff like that.
And you guys have said, you know, you're pretty hard at work on Rock Band Beatles at the moment.
Indeed.
So there's no other Rock Band this year. This is the big one for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that is our big Rock Band product for the year. And I mean, you know, it doesn't really get much bigger than the Beatles, man.
No, and it's 90909, isn't it, as well?
It's perfect. Fits symmetry.
So can you tell us how that's coming along at the moment and how it plays out for the UK market as well?
I mean, all I can really say right now is that, like, you know, having seen the game and having played a lot of it myself, I'm kind of over the moon excited about it. Like, it's just, it's coming together in a really awesome way, and we'll have more details on it really soon, like, you know, in the not too distant future for sure.
Okay, and Rock Band Unplugged is out as we say fairly soon, and it's launching alongside some DLC as well.
Yeah, we're actually the first PSP title in North America or Europe to have any sort of like in-game commerce system. So you'll be able to download tracks just like you would in the console titles. We'll have 10 tracks available at launch, and then we'll have, you know, more in the future.
The mask was forged from the steel flesh of the fire beast himself. To summon a warrior into this world who would lead our armies to brutal victory. It was made for a god, not for you. Not for a roadie.
I've always loved the music, and I've always loved games, and I've always thought they should relate in some way, and I've been kicking around these ideas for years.
The tale of rock is long and fabled.
Brutal Legend is a really big game, and it does have a lot of variety and a lot of custom stuff. Like, each experience in it is kind of new. It doesn't repeat a lot of stuff over and over again, so we had to come up with a lot of different ideas for enemies and different characters you meet, different situations. But Double Fine's a very creative company, has a lot of people besides me coming up with great ideas for the games, and everybody has their own kind of pet enemy or someone they've inserted into the game, and And really, it's a really fun game setting because anything can happen in the world of Brutal Legend. It's just the most crazy. If you can see it on the cover of a heavy metal album, then we can have it in our game. So we can just throw everything in there. We don't have to worry about it necessarily making sense. As long as it's cool, it goes in the game. I always want to make a real living, breathing world that, like, in Psychonauts, you could explore the campgrounds a little bit, and there's some fun things to find. There's an old truck in the woods. It has no gameplay purpose. It's just fun to find that, just like it is in real life when you're a kid, to find something in the woods. And but we still had load screens, and we had some limitations to that exploration. And here in Brutal Legend, we were able to make a streaming world, no load screens, and you can drive to the top of the Thunderhorn or all the way over to Battersmith, and you can go to all these locations and find little secret areas that have a character who you can just talk to, or maybe they have a secondary mission for you, or there's a creature that you can take over and commandeer and ride around, and just it all exists, and the sun rises and sets, and there's heavy metal meteor showers, and all sorts of things just happen, and that's been really rewarding because the idea of making a real world has always been something I wanted to do, and now we've finally done. In the game, you have what's called the Deuce, or AKA the Druid Plow, which is a hot rod that Eddie builds in the game. Based on ancient hieroglyphics he finds that clue him in on how to build it. It was just really handy to have because it takes you all around. We have 64 square kilometers of open world space to explore, and the car helps you get around. It also helps you navigate. The turn signals on the car help you know what direction to go to reach your next mission or objective. We're using Lemmy Killmaster in the game. He plays the Killmaster, kind of a play on his name. And he is a kind of reclusive hermit who plays music on his bass that is so beautiful it heals people, it heals the wounded, and returns them to their feet and to the battle. And you recruit him to join your army, and he's kind of a loner, and he stays up with this crazy room-size harp-like bass that he plays all by himself up there. And you build him a modern-day bass that he can take, and then you build him a motorcycle that he can drive, and so he joins this mobile unit in your army that way. I mean, it seems like every time we add another icon of heavy metal, or some big name to the game, it makes it seem bigger and it tracks even more, and it's kind of like a snowball effect where we managed to get names that really surprised me that I didn't think we'd ever be able to get, or that I would ever meet in my life. In fact, if I was going to, at 15, write down a list of everyone I wanted to meet in the world, I've been able to meet them through this game, and it's just been really rewarding and fun. Brutal Legend is coming out in Rocktober 13th in the US and 16th in the UK and the rest of Europe.
I'm supposed to think you're a nun, but I know you're really some kind of big, ugly demon, so let's have it. Aha! I knew it! Big, ugly demon. Kind of sexy, though, in a weird way.
That's it from us in London. Now, EA have promised lots more at this year's E3, including lots of more juicy, sexy times from BioWare. So we'll see you again in June for more from EA. Right, time to give away some competition prizes. On the last edition of Start Select, we gave you the chance to win one of 5 copies of The Godfather 2 on PlayStation 3. All you had to do was email us the answer to this question. Which actor played the young Don Vito Corleone in the film version of The Godfather Part 2? The answer, of course, was Robert De Niro, and the winners that we picked out of the bag are Andrew McLean from Peterborough, Michelle Robertshaw from Leicester, Andy Lyle from Edinburgh, Adam Phillips from Mid Glamorgan, and Peter Threadgill from Staines. Congratulations to all you guys. We'll be delivering these copies to you personally and leaving them in your bed with a horse's head in there. This week we've got a competition to win one of 3 copies of the crazily named Prinny Can I Really Be the Hero on the PlayStation Portable. We really liked the game and gave it an 8.0, and all you have to do is, if you want to win a copy, is answer this question. Who is the developer behind the game? Get your answers into competitions at GameSpot.co.uk before the 5th of May, and don't forget to include your name and address so we can send out prizes. We'll be announcing the winners on the next edition of Start Select. Now though, let's check out another crazily titled new game, this time on the PlayStation Network, called Fat Princess. All right, so we're in the GameSpot Games Room with Fat Princess today, which is
it's a game, not a person.
Not a person. It's a game about it's a combination of strategy and feeding. It's about time that the game came along where it was about feeding chicks.
Yeah.
It's been missing from the games market.
I definitely. I mean, who doesn't love chicks and junk food?
And junk food and cake.
Together,
finally.
And a bit of whipped cream and some cake.
And so what is this game about apart from running around with swords? It's about feeding women.
Feeding women. And
feeding princesses.
I was confused when I first heard it. I thought maybe it was like some sort of platformer game with some sort of like mascot for a certain other company.
Yeah.
But it's not.
The Fat Princess title comes about because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your princess. Your princess is in a castle, and you have to stop the opposing team from stealing her, and you do that by feeding her cake. And you can do that by you can just go and feed her cake, make her fat, and then it takes more and more people to actually pick her up and transport her across the level. But there's so much more depth to it. There are like 5 different classes, so you can be a warrior, just run around with a sword and a shield, or you can be an archer. But the key to it really is having engineers who will kind of build you structures. They'll I think they're called workers in the game. They will build you like catapults to send you flying through over into the castle. They'll build like little ladders so you can climb the walls, things like that. So while everyone else is running around fighting, you need these other classes to help you actually get the princess.
And it seems like it really relies on teamwork and strategy, because if you just go off and everyone's doing their own thing, you're never going to win. You have to kind of work with everyone else, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. The games, when I picked this game up, I was just running around and killing everyone.
Yeah.
And then I played it at home and I plugged in my headset and like communicating with everyone else, you can get strategies going. Obviously, it's 32 players in there. How much have you enjoyed this game and feeding princesses cake?
I've enjoyed it.
Has it satisfied your cake feeding?
It's not the 80-20 rule. 80% of my enjoyment of this game comes from watching her grow into a little fat slob. But it's unrelenting, because you have to keep feeding it, otherwise she like loses weight.
She loses weight, yeah, she does. She slims down. I mean, it's not very accurate with how much. It could send the wrong message out about how quickly you can slim down.
Yeah.
After eating a lot of cake.
But don't worry, it doesn't matter if you eat like 6 cakes, because you'll lose the weight within.
You lose the weight in minutes, according to this game.
She doesn't even have a treadmill. All she's doing is sitting on a bum in a dungeon. And she manages to lose weight.
And do you think this is morally reprehensible of Sony to put this game out here and not only show reward you for feeding a girl cake?
I think it could send out the wrong message to young people.
Yeah.
I think it should come with some sort of disclaimer saying, warning, cake will cause you to be fat and not lose weight.
And you will not lose weight this quickly.
Yes.
Unless you're very, you have a cake binge and then you're anorexic.
Yeah. It is realistic in that like a person of that weight would take about 10 people to carry her. So that part's realistic.
They have to literally get underneath her bottom and lift her up. I don't know if you've seen her like kind of waddling around, but it seems to be quite realistic in its weight to man ratio.
If it was going for ultra realism, it'd probably have like ambulance with like a stretcher or something kind of pull her.
Wheeling her out.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, that would have been a different game entirely. All right, so that's Fat Princess. It's available on PlayStation 3 only.
Yeah.
So
soon.
So unless you've got a PlayStation 3, you can't satisfy your feeding needs, which is a bit of a shame. But it's coming out pretty soon. I've enjoyed it.
It's pretty much the only like princess feeding sim game out there.
It is, and it's better for it, I think. So
it's cornered the market.
Well, it's cornered the market, straight out the bat. So great stuff. Fat Princess hitting the PlayStation 3 soon, and we certainly enjoyed the beta.
We did. Bring it on.
That's all for this week's edition of Start Select. Make sure you get your competition entries in for the Prinny Can I Really Be the Hero competition to competitions@gamespot.co.uk. And as always, we love hearing your feedback, so remember to tell us what you think in the comments. We'll be back next week with another episode of Start Select, so we'll see you again next Friday.